Does fishing really suck for you right now? Are you going out and maybe getting skunked or only catching maybe one fish each time you go out? End of summer to fall transition is here. Let's talk about it. It's that crazy time of year. You might be going out and just not getting bit or getting bit rarely, and maybe you don't understand what's going on. Now, when we begin to get into the fall transition, that's when a whole lot of things start kicking off. Your days are shorter, your nights are cooler, and what's going to happen is those longer, cooler nights start cooling off the upper layer of the water. It just doesn't stay as warm because there's not as much sunlight during the day. At some point, the water on the top becomes the same or cooler than the water below it. Now, just before all of that kicks off in the late summer, a lot of those fish are suspended in the upper half of the water column because the water down below is pretty depleted of oxygen, and bass are very sensitive to oxygen level. At some point, and it's different on every lake, every body of water, every pond, at some point that water on the top is going to become cooler and denser, and it's going to sink. And this is nature's way of replenishing the oxygen in the lakes. It happens twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. Here in the fall, that can drive you, the bass angler, well, insane, because when that transition happens and the lake actually turns over, those fish are going to be shocked for a few days, 2 to 3, maybe even 4 or 5, just depends on the size of your body of water. But it's gonna shock the fish because things are different. Now, what's gonna happen is when that bottom layer comes up, it's gonna get reoxygenated by the wind, by the grass that's in the upper half. The whole body of water becomes once again oxygenated. So instead of, like in late summer, those fish being suspended above that thermocline, now they're gonna be scattered everywhere. They've got good water down low, they got good water up above. They're free to kind of roam wherever they want. And fishing can get tough because after they come out of their period of being a little shocked, then they can go anywhere they want and they become harder to find. This is the time of year when we do a lot of what we call junk fishing. You're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at these fish, trying to figure out where they are and what they're doing, because right now they can be anywhere. Now, we're not into full fall fishing mode yet because there's other things that take place there. Again, we're in chase mode. We're just trying to figure out where they're at. The fall transition also triggers the killing of grass, and that's when you notice all that bunched up junk floating around on the top of the water. You can't cast anything out there without it coming back covered in dead grass. What you're still hunting for is the still live good grass that's still kind of hanging on for the next month or so. Gonna be throwing them jackhammers, trying to find them and pull them out of the grass, ripping it out of the grass that you can find. Or you can be throwing those spinner baits, turning and burning. Be banging them square bills into everything you can find. This is that time I'll be throwing those lipless crankbaits like this red eye shatter rattle traps around the grass. This is also that time of year when early in the day and as the sun's going down, you start throwing those topwater baits like a Whopper Plopper, Berkeley Chopo, walking baits like the Zero Spook, the KVD Sexy Dog, or like this one from 6 Cents. It's also buzz bait time of year, like this one from Mega Bass. Yeah, baby! Or one of my favorites, like this one from Strike King that's got the triple blade with a little rage crawl on the back. You're literally just trying to cover water and figure out where the fish are and what they're doing. Now, if you can't find any grass, it's time to start searching for wood. Now, the fish may still not want those fast-moving baits if they're in a little shocked state. That's when you can pull out a jerk bait and put it to work. You'll have to play with it. Sometimes they might want it fast, where you're twitching it a whole lot more than give it a pause. Twitch it a whole lot more. Same goes for softer baits like this KVD Caffeine Shad, or a Zoom Super Fluke, or a 6 Cents Flush. Again, sometimes they might want it fast where you're just twitch, 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 reeling it. And sometimes they just might want that twitch, twitch, let it fall like it's a dying bait fish. Right now, you just don't know what they want. It's a kind of a hard and terrible time of year to be even trying. And then there's my old faithful, a jig with some type of creature or crawl bait on it, like this Beast Coast Fishing Little Magnum with a Missile Baits Baby D-Chunk, I think it is, on it. Anywhere there's wood, I'm pitching this in there. I'm also going to pitch this around those weed lines of the grass that's still there, because even the crawfish will be making their way towards that grass that's still alive. Really, first cast? Bottom line is, the fish are always out there and they always got to eat. You're just going to have to cover a lot of water or walk a lot of bank trying to find them, figure out what they're doing. The one way around this is find you a creek or find you a river where the water's always moving. There's no turnover to be going on. It's a great time of year to hit those areas and avoid, well, the headaches of the ponds, the lakes, reservoirs where the water's turning over. Or do you give up on the bass and just go bluegill and crappie fishing? It's been known to happen to a lot of people. Remember, get outside when you can and make some memories. One cast at a time.